Well, I'm just gonna say it. SmackDown was awful. Not boring, not mid, awful. And we'll talk about the show a lot today, maybe not as much as we normally do, because we have to just take a breath and talk about really the only thing that's worth talking about from this entire episode of SmackDown. Kind of the only thing that anybody on the internet is really talking about with this thing coming from SmackDown. And that's the Pat McAfee reveal. And Sean, I'm going to let you go first because I've got a speech prepared. So go
Okay.
ahead.
First of all, welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast. Obviously, you have myself, Sean, and Mike, your hosts, bringing this hopefully not completely down episode to you. And for any of our audience that celebrates, Happy Easter. It is obviously the holiday today, so hopefully
Yes,
you
happy
and your
Easter.
families are well today and have the chance to celebrate, and we can celebrate alongside us by watching. Um, Obviously, this episode of SmackDown has basically turned into a meme at this point. Um, it has gotten nothing but blasted across the entire internet, which obviously, even though it's not a real place, is a pretty big sounding board. I think that it's disappointing that something that you had open the show was so bad that it's all that anybody remembers about the show. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like this reveal should have been left for the end of the show because at least then the rest of the show wouldn't have been ruined. Because there was some good stuff on the show, but the opening segment just left such a bad taste in I know your mouth. I know it left me just questioning the intelligence of the writers' room. And I think that obviously we're gonna go from there. That's gonna be the main talking point. And then anybody, any of our fans, anybody who's our watchers, go ahead, leave us any comments. Make sure you like the video. Give us your thoughts on this because it's definitely turned into a pretty big talking point. And I know you have a soapbox you want to get onto, so I'm going to let you get onto that, and then I'm going to respond to what you have to say.
Yeah, so I'm not even going to break down the segment, right? Everybody at this point knows that the reveal of the mystery person on the phone for Randy Orton was Pat McAfee, right? And
Gremlin.
it was not Kevin Owens, it was not Sami Zayn, it was not Cowboy Bob Orton, it was not even Dwayne the Dwayne Johnson, right? It was Pat McAfee. Now, before I shit all over this, what Pat McAfee actually had to say in his promo was actually fine, and it would have been better if it was delivered by other than Dwayne. Any one of those other people, any one of those other people. If those words came out of Kevin Owens' mouth, this would have been fine. The problem with this is the main event of WrestleMania. Night one, probably, right? Like,
Yeah.
assumingly, night one, right? Like, this is not going to upstage CM Punk and Roman Reigns at this point. I just zero chance. I mean, if this becomes the night two WrestleMania main event of WrestleMania, we may stop this channel, right? Because I may just not want to do this anymore. So the first problem I have with this is your main event now has Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, who are two of the biggest stars in WWE, who you could just tell a damn story with, right? Like infinite history between these guys to tell us a coherent, good story. Why then do we need celebrities involved? Why? Why is Pat McAfee involved in this? Why is Jelly Roll involved in this? Like they were both involved in this. Are they both going to be at the Mania match? I friggin' hope not. Like, are you kidding me right now? Why do we need this? Who thinks that this is a good idea? And from every report that I've been reading, and because I've been doing a lot of like, listening to people online, getting other people's takes on this, and everybody says that this is coming from TKO, from
Yep.
Ari Emanuel, to try and drive ticket sales. What do these idiots think that they're doing? Tell a coherent story. Just tell a coherent story. Like, it is unbelievable to me that you cannot just put together a story with two of the best storytellers, the best, like two of the best promos that you have in this company, outside of the two people who are in the other main event.
Yep.
Like, say what you want about Cody Rhodes, right? Is he being oversaturated right now? Sure. But he's one of the best talkers you have. You think this dude can't deliver a promo? And I'm sorry, even like thinking about some of the stuff that McAfee said, this shit is Cody Rhodes' fault. None of it is his fault at all. It is the way that this dude is being booked. Like you have so many opportunities to tell good stories with this guy. Like I know a lot of the internet loves to shit all over Cody Rhodes, and I've been one of his biggest backers for a long time on this channel. Dude's one of the best wrestlers in the company. Him and Gunther, and I mean, yeah, Randy Orton's up there in age, sure, but Cody Rhodes is one of the best wrestlers in this company, one of the best speakers in this company, and dude should be champion. He absolutely should. And it is insane to me that you think oh my God, let's just insert more friggin' celebrities. And they're all over the place. There's what, five celebrities now that are going to be involved in WrestleMania. And we'll get into the little yachties and the iShow speeds and all that other bullshit that we have to talk about later. But it's like, are you kidding me right now? Why do we need this? Who asked for this? Wrestling fans don't want this. Nobody wants this. Nobody wanted, like, fine. You want to put Pat McAfee on commentary because he's funny on commentary? Fine. Did he have a match with Gunther 2 years ago or whatever, and it was fine? Fine. I don't want him near the main event of the biggest show of the year. I want wrestlers involved in that. I want wrestlers at the main event of my wrestling show. The main event should feel like a big deal. It shouldn't feel like an effing comedy act. Like it is unbelievable to me that any one of these idiots in TKO think that this is what's going to solve the damn problem. This is what's going to drive ticket sales to WrestleMania. I don't know. Maybe if you lowered the damn price of the friggin' tickets and put it out of Las Vegas for 2 years in a row. Because let's be honest, the show last year sucked. The main events, the first night's main event was okay. The main event last year, which is, how every promoter likes to talk about, it's how you leave them, right? It's how you leave them. And how did you leave them last year? How did you leave them last year?
Not
John
well.
Cena and Travis Scott. And they think that that's a good idea to do that again? Are you kidding me? I don't know. Maybe don't make it so I'd have to like sell a kidney to go to WrestleMania. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but like, one of our subscribers here had made mention that, for him and his two sons to go to the Raw when it was here in Buffalo, he would have had to like put a second mortgage on his house. Like it
Yep.
was unbelievable how expensive these tickets are. And say what you want about Vince McMahon. It was never like that when it was under Vince McMahon. And I get it, it's a business, but you see all that feces advertising all over the ring. You watch it on Netflix and it's advertisement after advertisement. Then you get advertisements on the PLE. When is enough enough? When is it enough money? When is it enough? Because the product is suffering because of it. And you're bringing in, and that's another thing too. You're bringing in these damn D-list celebrities. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to see these people on the wrestling shows. You are not bringing in new audiences. Nobody gives a shit about iShow Speed and his YouTube audience. You're not bringing new eyes to the product. You're not. You're pissing off your core
They
audience. And it's like everything else here that is going, I promise I'm almost done. You're pissing off your core audience here because, it's just like anything else though, too. You have all these other things, all these other like places all over, like how did like what Disney did with Marvel and what Disney did with Star Wars, right? Like it's just like you have a core audience for these things. And yeah, I get it. You should try and bring new people in. You should try and do new things to like bring in new fans and stuff like that to an extent. Don't shit all over the core fans who are the ones that have been buying the product, consuming the product, and being the ones who actually enjoy this shit. Because you know what? You're going to lose them. And when you lose your core audience, these casuals that like came in to see iShow Speed, they're not going to watch it. They're only going to like tune in when that idiot is going to be on WWE. And you know what? People who listen to Jelly Roll are my sister, who's 30 years old, two kids. She doesn't give a shit about WWE. She's never going to watch WWE. And you know what? These goons who listen to Pat McAfee, the same thing. They're never going to watch WWE. So what are you doing? What are you doing? This is not going to drive ticket sales to WrestleMania. A coherent effing story is going to drive ticket sales to WrestleMania. cheaper ticket prices are going to drive ticket sales to WrestleMania. And you know what? You still have what, 40,000 seats to sell across both days? I don't know. Maybe if they were even half off, you'd fill those seats because you know what? No money is better than a big amount of money from tickets you're not even going to sell. Learn economics. Like, I mean, come on. It's coherent damn storytelling, and you can't do anything about it whatsoever. And you know what? It's lazy, it's boring, it's just for stupid social media buzz. And I just don't give a shit. And I don't want to shit all over Pat McAfee because he's not the problem. The problem is booking. The problem is TKO. The problem is the board, Dwayne, Ari Emanuel, all of them. They've ruined this great company, ruined it, and it's only going to get worse. The advertising is only going to get worse. And like, when is enough enough? Like, I mean, they're already pricing fans out now. So eventually these damn arenas are going to be empty. They've stopped the live shows already. They only do Raw and SmackDown now. And very special occasions do they do live shows. Why? Because nobody can friggin' afford it anymore. So I don't know. But bottom line is this: we're going into WrestleMania. This has been one of the worst booked WrestleManias I've ever seen so far. Matches aside, the matches are going to be great, but the storytelling going into this WrestleMania is unbelievable to me. It's been terrible. This does not feel like WrestleMania season at all, outside of like one or two matches. Everything else, yeah, are the matches going to be great? Sure. Am I like drooling at the mouth to see Obafemi and Brock Lesnar? Yes, I am. But this match, F this match. Oba and Brock in the damn main event. I don't even want to watch this shit anymore. I don't care about this anymore. And it's pissing me off because Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes are like two of my favorites.
They're
They're like the
legends.
reason I tune in every week. So I don't know. Go
So
ahead. Go ahead.
so you're telling me you're not going to buy the iShowSpeed 5 Hour Energy Championship when it comes out? No, you're everything you said is right, and it blows my mind that the talent in the writers' room, the gap between the writers' room on SmackDown and the writers' room on Raw is as cavernous as it is. We were just saying that last Monday was one of the best Raws we've watched. And then you go from that to one of the absolute worst SmackDowns, if not the worst SmackDown of all time. I mean, there may have been some bad ones at the beginning, but this and like I said, it wasn't the whole show either. But you're right. It's the advertisements and everything that's pricing everybody out. And what do we do like with all the commercials and all the ad money they're taking? How are they not making enough money off of that already? Like you made a good point. Vince, everything about Vince being a scumbag aside, Vince understood who his audience was. And he didn't price things like things were expensive, but it didn't price people out of things. And that's crazy to me. And as far as Pat McAfee goes, I feel like there's a way they could have done this with and possibly made it not work, but better than it was. And I feel like having Pat McAfee come back for more than just randomly showing up to do this may have helped. Like had him back as a commentator again and then have him pull this heel turn. You know what I mean? Have him be invested in the product because he hasn't been around in what, 6 months since before football season? What reason does he have that he's invested in WWE at the moment? He doesn't. He is only doing his show and college stuff. So like that part doesn't make sense to me. And you're right. He everything he said does make sense in regards to a lot of things, but I don't know. It seems kind of asinine. And as far as this like celebrities and that go, they must have some sort of like market research department or something that justifies having these people on. Because as much as we want to say that someone like iShowSpeed is a D-list celebrity, he has billions of fans that watch him on YouTube, and I have no doubt that that's what WWE wants is they're trying to poach his fans. Same with Jelly Roll. Same with the chuds that watch Pat McAfee. No offense if you watch Pat McAfee, but his show isn't top tier television. I'm sorry. Um, I just I don't know. I was very disappointed in the way Friday opened, and it really left a bad taste in my mouth going forward for this. Even Cody's promo when he came out later, well, that was good. Couldn't really help save anything for me. And I don't know if there is any way that WWE can even turn this around a little bit as far as this particular match goes. Because, like you said, I'm looking forward to almost every other match, but part of me just doesn't care about this one anymore. Especially because it's unless they do a random swerve and have Cody win, it's pretty much expected that Randy's just going to win. You know what I mean?
I don't even give a shit. I don't even give a shit
No,
anymore.
but
And
my
you know what?
point is that it's telegraphed.
You know what? Let me be clear. Pat McAfee is not the problem. Pat McAfee is not the problem here. He's fine when he's a special attraction, right? Like
I like
totally
him as a
fine.
commentator.
This this felt forced. This felt like, hey, we're just creatively bankrupt. Let's just throw Pat McAfee in there, right? Like you had an opportunity to create a moment here. Can you imagine the pop Kevin Owens would have gotten? He didn't even need to wrestle. And he's got story with both of these guys. He's still under contract. Just have him come out and kick Cody in the dick. Like it would have been so easy to do. So
Or
easy to do. This is just such a massive miss. It's a massive miss. And like you could have made WrestleMania feel so much bigger and so much better and gotten people so hyped. My God, Kevin Owens would have gotten such a big pop.
it
Such a big pop. And instead you just made it all like go to shit. Go just
it
completely to shit.
it literally hurts me to say this, but I think even Dwayne would have been better. Like it physically pains me to say that, but I think even the Dwayne Johnson would have been a better choice for this because at least that would have made sense. He's invested in this stuff. McAfee, like I said, there's zero investment from McAfee on this. And that's, I
Yeah.
think, the thing that makes me ask that makes me is my biggest question of what is the point of this when you use somebody who has zero involvement. Like I said, if he was still here commentating and he was there every week still, that would be one thing. But then to just have him randomly show up off of his show, it doesn't make sense.
And you know what? This wasn't just a bad SmackDown, right? Like this was a warning sign for me because like if this is your energy going into WrestleMania, dude, you got a problem. Do better. Do better. And you know what? If Tony Khan wasn't like a lunatic coke fiend, like take advantage of this opportunity, man.
Yeah.
Like put some competent stories on AEW. This is your opportunity because Tony Khan is all about like he's got like this like middle child syndrome where he's just got to stand up to the big bad TKO WWE and show that AEW is number one. Like, dude, this is your chance. This is your chance. Hire some damn writers and put better stories out for AEW because this is your chance to go back to what AEW was in 2019 when AEW was frankly better than WWE
I
at
mean,
that point. And
they
you
have
know
the
what?
wrestlers.
Yeah, you've got the wrestlers, you've got the talent. Like this could have been your opportunity to overtake them because WWE is shit right now. It's shit right now. Outside of like four or five people,
I mean,
like
Raw has been
they
decent. I enjoy
no,
Raw.
they can't book for shit though. The women's division on WWE used to be fantastic. It's garbage now. And that's no disrespect to the wrestlers because the wrestlers are great. You can't tell good coherent stories whatsoever with any of the women. None of
Nope.
them. Not one. You've had some good stories over the years and you're just wasting so many of these women. I feel bad for them. And
It's
your one main event is going to be headlined by friggin' celebrities. Who the hell cares? You've got one match. I mean, there are other matches that they're going to be good matches. I want to stress. Seth and Gunther is going to be great. Jacob and Drew is going to be great. The only match that has a good story going into it doesn't even really have a story, and that's Oba and Brock.
I mean,
That match is just going to be awesome just because of the hype that has been like put into that match. But I don't care. The women's tag team division. It's the same shit week after week after week after week after week. Like who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? Tell a goddamn better story. Tell a better story. And freaking if AEW just hired some damn writers, Tony Khan, spend the money, buy writers. Don't book the show yourself anymore. This is your chance. This is your chance to like overtake WWE. It really is because WWE is garbage right now. Nobody wants wrestling fans don't want to see celebrities in the main event of WrestleMania. When you think back to some of the worst main events in WrestleMania history, I don't know, does Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow remember ring any bells for
Five
anybody?
stars.
Worst thing ever. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. And then last year's WrestleMania. Did anybody want to see Travis Scott? Did one human being on this planet want to see Travis Scott help John Cena win number 17? There should
Nope.
be a permanent asterisk next to John Cena's 17th world title. I don't give a shit about celebrities. I don't care. We've been talking about it on this channel for weeks. Jelly Roll should have had a stupid thing with Kit Wilson, and that should have been it because it would have been funny, it would have been fine, and that is the involvement. Get them away from the main event of WrestleMania. They should not be
So
in the main event of the biggest show of the year. Absolutely not. Unacceptable. TKO can
it's
go to hell. They can go to hell. I don't care about this anymore.
it's one thing to have them like if you have a celebrity accompany someone to the ring as like a valet, but to like have them actively involved as much in the storyline as they are is that's where the problem is. Like I don't have an issue. Like if you wanted to have Jelly Roll play Cody out to the ring or walk him to the ring and then go to the back, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? That's what you can use a celebrity for. But I just at the end of the day, I feel more and more that it's TKO and their corporate greed are destroying this form of entertainment that I love. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the you can almost see TKO's fingerprints all over it. And I was reading about the this whole thing with McAfee, and from what I understand, from it was Ari Emanuel and TKO that demanded this. And it's like just because you want to steal that crossover audience away, don't ruin your product because of it.
Yeah. You could have put this anywhere else. Anywhere else. You wanted to get Pat McAfee involved, you could have got him involved in anything else. Hell, you're put. You know what? Let's go into the next thing here because we're going to spend all day on this. You could have put him in with friggin' Sami Zayn if you really wanted to, right? Because like, what happened with Sami Zayn today? He gave Carmelo Hayes a rematch, which I think, frankly, I know Carmelo Hayes. You had mentioned it last week. He's going off to get married. Congratulations to him.
Yep.
But it's like you mean you couldn't have just reinserted Carmelo Hayes into this whole feud here and then had these three guys compete for the US title at WrestleMania and then have Carmelo Hayes be the one who gets pinned by Trick Williams because of some cheap bullshit from Little Yachty, another D-list celebrity that nobody gives a shit about? Like
Little Yakty.
you could have just put him in there, right? And that way you protect Sami Zayn because you know you're building Sami Zayn for next year's WrestleMania in Saudi, right? So you could have protected him. You could have, and then you had a feud ready to go for
Yep.
Trick and Carmelo Hayes, right? It's so easy. It's such easy booking, and you just can't do it right. You
I
can't do it
stay
right. Like, what are you doing? So, like, fine. Sami Zayn beats Carmelo Hayes. He's buried and out of the picture now. And then you're just gonna have Trick beat him because everybody knows Trick's going to beat him. Otherwise, if Sammy beats Trick, Trick's buried too, and Trick is the future. And that'd
yep.
be another idiotic booking from WWE. And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me because you were saying it for months when Sami Zayn buried Karrion Cross. Are they going to bury Trick Williams next? I mean, who the hell knows? I don't trust this company anymore to do anything right. And you know what else is probably going to happen? Brock Lesnar is probably going to beat Obafemi. That's probably what's going to happen. Every asinine booking decision that you can think of that is going to happen on this show is probably going to effing happen.
I've been saying it on here for I think months now as we talk about things that you or I doing the GM mode of the WWE video games can tell better stories with limited options than at least the SmackDown writers room for sure, and sometimes the Raw writers room. And that's embarrassing. Like these guys are getting paid good money to entertain us with stories that we care about. Like the whole Cody overcoming Roman and like that was peak storytelling. The
Yeah,
bloodline, what
absolutely. It was
happened
great. Well, that was incredible.
what happened to those to that writing? Like where did those writers go? Did they all get fired? Did they all quit? Like I don't understand how you can go from telling such good stories to telling such garbage. And it pains me to when you talk about the way they had Karrion Cross get buried. And I don't blame Sammy for it because he's just doing what he's told. But now I'm worried that they're going to do it to Trick. I don't think so because they're apparently really high on Trick. So I don't think they will do it. But like you said, I don't know that I can trust them to make the right decision. I mean, you just had Carmelo Hayes for the last what, 2.5, 3 months, carrying SmackDown with the U.S.
Yeah,
Open challenges,
carrying
and
SmackDown.
you have him lose, and the poor guy can't even be in a triple threat at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Like the dude
it would
should
have
have
been
at
so
least been
easy.
in that.
It would have been so easy. It would have just been so easy to do that. And it's just it's so maddening. And like, I don't normally on this channel we don't come across this negative. We really don't. And I get it. It's professional wrestling. It's not real. But you know what? Like, we do this channel, we enjoy this product. Like, this has been a part of our, for me, it was a big part of my childhood, something that I did with my dad. And like, I love professional wrestling. I love it. Like, it is one of the biggest hobbies that I have outside of in my life, and it holds a special place in my heart. And it really makes me just sad to see what this product has that I love, that had like I have special memories from my childhood of, to see what this product has become and how bad this product that I love so much has become. And yeah, I get, am I just like, are we doing part of this for clicks? Sure. But like, the bottom line is, this kind of shit is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and it can be better. And
It
stop. Like, it's just like everything else, man. There's just like so many things in this world now are just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And stop taking the shit that I love and making that worse too, for money, for
yep.
money. Because that's what the bottom line is now. You can barely play a good video game anymore these days. You can barely see a good movie anymore these days. Everything has to be ruined because of money and greed, and just terrible people. And it's like, stop ruining the shit that we love for money. Stop it.
Like I paid, so when Raw moved to Netflix, I literally paid for the more expensive version of Netflix so that I could get the ad-free one. And mind you, at the beginning, when I was watching it, I was seeing things you weren't. Because like I remember in our group chat, you and Terrence being like, "Oh, well, why that sucks. This guy didn't get an entrance." And I'd be like, "Yeah, he did." And all of a sudden, that went away. So now I have to pay. I pay for ad-free Netflix yet sit here watching ads on WWE. And it just, I get it. TKO and WWE are a business, but at what point is too much too much? And the worst part about this with SmackDown is this was the worst possible time to have something this bad. You know what I mean? Like you are what, 2 weeks out from WrestleMania?
Thir-
And
13 days.
yeah, so just under 2 weeks. And you have literally the worst SmackDown since the dark times of the early 2010s in WWE. Like, you can't afford to have that. And I mean, I know WWE could still put on good things because we saw that with the NXT show this weekend, yesterday, was fantastic. But you can't have something terrible and then try to make us forget about it by then having something great. You need to have at least good and then great.
Okay, breathe. Let's talk about the rest of the show. So, I mean, there isn't much else to talk about with the rest of the show. Honestly, there was really only one good thing on this show, and I want to talk about the one good thing on this show, and then we'll kind of just go over the rest of it, because it's most honestly, most of the rest of this is just kind of highlights. This podcast was really mostly going to be about what we just talked about
Yep.
and what we kind of went on, because this was one of the most forgettable episodes of SmackDown that there was. But the WWE Tag Team Champions, Damian Priest and R-Truth, did defeat Miz and Kit Wilson via pinfall. after some shenanigans where Danhausen attempted to curse the Miz, but instead cursed the referee, and it was a hilarious segment. And you know what? I know Danhausen is a professional wrestler, not a celebrity. This is how this kind of stuff should be done. It was hilarious. It was involved with joke characters like The Miz and Kit Wilson, and it was fun and it was hilarious. And that is how you do this stuff. If you were to take Danhausen and have him involved in, like, say, instead of it being Pat McAfee, and you were to put Danhausen in that spot and have Danhausen curse Cody Rhodes and then do all of that crap, I'd be furious.
Yeah,
This is the kind of place this stuff belongs. And it's great. It works perfectly. And it was the best thing on this show.
it was dumb as shit, but I laughed hysterically.
Yeah,
Like
I loved it. I
when
loved it.
Danhausen was trying to get tagged in and R-Truth tagged him in,
Yeah.
like it was so stupid. But that's I think what makes it's lighthearted, it's enjoyable, and it makes me laugh. And you
Yeah.
know what? The fact that Danhausen is Danhausen and he can actually wrestle and eventually they'll showcase that is its own point. But you're right. This is they're using whoever's writing for him is using him correctly. Every single segment outside of him coming up being revealed out of the box has been grade A for me.
And he's
And
so over. The crowd loves him. They
yeah,
love him.
I mean when the crowd chants you are cursed and he doesn't even have to
Yeah.
is like fantastic. And
Yeah.
it worries me that TKO is going to ruin him too.
Yeah. I'm sure
And
they
I
will.
just like, and as dumb as it was to see the the Miz not get the pin because the ref's arm cramped up was absolutely had me dying, dying.
We had Uncle Howdy defeat Tama Tonga via pinfall after hitting his sister Abigail. Post match, Tonga snatched Bray Wyatt's lantern from Solo Sikoa and basically just gave it back to Uncle Howdy, kind of, getting in Solo's face, being like, dude, enough is enough with this crap. Like, you're turning into something you're not. You're turning into Roman. So I have a feeling that Tama Tonga is eventually, and you said this, I think he's going to kind of go his own way,
Yep,
maybe get himself involved in the U.S. title scene, which would be a good thing. And also, this story with the MFTs and the Wyatts, it needs to wrap up. Like,
it's over.
we need to be done with this. I'm thinking we're probably getting close to the end of the glacial Triple H booking that we have with like every single storyline, but this seems to be like finally coming to an end. We may even get a match between Solo and Tama at some point, which Tama should win.
So I actually put this into the good category for me this week because it literally puts it to we're in the closing of this storyline. Him get them Tama giving the lantern back means that the Wyatts can now get away from the NFTs and we can continue on. And hopefully we get a series of matches of Tama versus the MFTs until he faces Solo at some point.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that's absolutely the way to go. Well, I don't want to turn him face. I just, I'd rather he was just like in that gray area a little
Yep.
bit, and then just, yeah. And you be fresh matches for all these people. And Tama is by far the best wrestler in that entire group, like by a
Yes.
mile. So
The
absolutely.
what's the best promo guy, Solo, but
Solo's great on the microphone.
and he can back it up, but his style of wrestling is that slower style like a lot of the bigger Samoans do. But no, Tama is a great wrestler, and I look forward to seeing him in like the Money at the Bank match
Yeah. Then we
because
had
I can see
Alistair.
that.
Yep. Then we had Alistair Black defeating Matt Cardona via pinfall after hitting him with the Black Mass. This match was really all about selling Matt Cardona's arm
Yep.
injury a little bit from the previous week with his encounter with Randy Orton. This was fine. I mean, it's good to get Alistair Black looks like he's having fun. He looks like he's enjoying what he's doing right now. And, I'm just glad he's getting TV time. I'm glad he's going to start stacking up some wins and maybe we can move him into a bigger program eventually. Maybe hell, we mentioned it on this channel a couple of times. He could be a very easy, feud for Randy Orton, assuming Randy Orton wins the title, like on a go forward basis. Like you could do that match at Money in the Bank or something like that, and that would be perfectly okay.
Yeah, the more matches we get Alistair Black in, the better. And I really like the fact that they're continuing to sell the Cardona arm injury thing. You don't see that often enough where someone takes a massive beating and then the next week they're just back good as new.
Yep.
And I think that Aleister Black, like you said, he actually looks like he's enjoying himself out there. I know he's not getting the most work all the time, but I know he did an interview where he actually said that he's having way more fun this time around in WWE than he was the first time. And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I mean, if you can't love your job, why are you there?
Right. Exactly.
Especially something like this.
Yeah. Exactly. We had Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair defeat Bailey and Lyra Valkyria after Bliss hit Valkyria with the natural selection. Obviously, again, chaos ensued when Lash and Nia, mostly Lash, just came out and kind of destroyed everybody. The Bellas were absent this time around, but yeah, I don't really care. It's kind of like honestly, I get it. You needed to like have a TV match here, but you probably could should have just did like a singles match, frankly. And I've been watching the WWE Unreal thing a little bit, and the first season or the first episode of the second season was about Becky Lynch and Lyra, and trying to tell go behind the scenes and show you Becky's return and talk about Lyra being the future and Becky wanting to put her over and all this stuff. And Lyra is like probably like the most unover person in this entire 8 women thing right
Which
now. And
sucks.
I kind of feel bad for her because Lyra at WrestleMania last year felt like a big deal. And now she just kind of feels like an afterthought. And she's another one of these people who this is the future, right? Alexa, Charlotte, Bailey, they are not the future. Lyra's the future.
Yeah.
Lyra should be the focal point here. Like Lyra probably, and what's sad is another point here, right? We've been saying it. The Bellas are probably going to win just because it's a moment, right?
Yep.
But you need to have Bailey and Lyra beat them, and Lyra needs to be the one to do it. I get it. Bailey's your workhorse, and you should reward that. But I mean, you need to you need to start moving some of these women up a little bit, being like and start making new stars. And Lyra is a perfect example of somebody that you could turn into a new star. If you just put a little bit of energy behind her. And I'm ready for this whole like thing to be over with Nat or with Lash and Nia. Because this is just it's kind of getting lazy and you know kind of boring, frankly.
Yeah, no, this they need to go they need to break up some of these teams because that's part of and I've been saying it for a while now. It's part of why the women's divisions as far as the other titles are suffering because you have too many of these top tier women tied up in the tag team division. And I know you're trying to reinvent the women's tag division, but there's a point where you can't do it at the expense of your other divisions. It's the
Yeah,
reason why we kept seeing friggin' Stephanie Vaquer and Rodriguez.
yeah, yeah,
Like, give us some variety, and they couldn't because everyone was tied up.
yeah. Speaking of the women's division as well, we lastly saw Rhea Ripley defeat Michin by a submission with the prison trap after a decent match. Post match saw Io Sky save Rhea Ripley from a beatdown from Jade and BFAB. And I mean, you know what? You could put Michin and BFAB into a tag team after
Yeah,
this, and that would be perfectly fine. You know, they're mostly jobbers and they're treating them like jobbers. And you know what? Be a perfect little feud for the Bellas for a couple of weeks that the Bellas could win, and I wouldn't feel bad about like Meechin and BFAB losing to the Bellas.
yeah, the
So,
Bellas versus the Jade Brigade.
yeah, like that the Jade Brigade. Perfect, right? And that would be totally fine. And luckily we didn't get too much out of Jade this time around, which was fine. And frankly, I think I don't think that they're going to do anything about it. I would assume we'll probably get some kind of thing with like Rhea and Io versus Meechin and BFAB next week, and then maybe it'll kind of lead into like Asuka coming out and costing them or something like that. They can kind of get that Io Asuka thing going, I guess. But yeah, the sooner that this one is over with, too, kind of the better, right? Which led me to my back to my original point, like it just doesn't feel like WrestleMania season, man. Like
It,
you forgot about your Raw title for like 3 weeks, and then you're like, oh shit, we got to like get Liv and Stephanie out there again. Then this one just feels like a charisma black hole. Like Rhea Ripley can't even save this one,
It
you
blows my
know?
mind that even with Rhea involved, this feud is struggling as much as it is. And like, I mean, when you have both women getting booed, when's the last time you saw Rhea Ripley get booed? I can't think of
Yeah.
a single time ever.
Nope.
And it's because she's stuck in the vortex of Jade. And
Yeah.
I don't, oh, I mean, I know we like to crap on Jade, and
I'm not even mad at Jade for
it's
this for this week. Like honestly, I've been pissed at Jade for other instances, but like this, Jade didn't do anything wrong this
no.
week, so I'm like I'm really not that mad at
My
Jade for
point I was going to
for this.
make though was that I've been thinking about it, and I think only part of it is on Jade. I think the majority of it is on WWE itself
Hmm.
for not handling her correctly. I mean, yeah, her attitude is on her, but not sending her to NXT, not getting her promo training, pushing her right into this the way that they did, that's all on WWE, and they need to make sure this kind of shit doesn't happen in the future. Any big stars, I don't care if you're coming from like the main event scene of the competition, you should have to spend at least a month in NXT.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. That was SmackDown, guys. Um, did you think it was the worst SmackDown of the year, guys? Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Sean, I think we're gonna skip our final ratings for
I
this
want to
week
give it my
because
rating though.
oh, you want to give your rating? Go ahead. What do you got?
It's this episode of SmackDown was cursed by Danhausen, so I give it a -1.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just at a loss for words, right? Like McAfee's inclusion isn't a brilliant twist, wasn't a brilliant twist. It's just a nonsensical surprise. No disrespect to Pat McAfee whatsoever. Like, dude isn't the problem. This feud doesn't need him other than the publicity. And Pat McAfee parroting everybody's legitimate criticisms of the WWE product is not edgy. It's not cool. It's not authentic. It comes off as manufactured. So, with that, my final rating of the show is a manufactured out of 5. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for joining us for the show. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. We promise we won't be that negative going forward. We're going to have some fun content for you guys coming out about WrestleMania. Sean and I have a really cool, we're going to rank every single WrestleMania from 1 to 41 in a pretty epic list. We're going to go through the good and the bad of all of them, and it's going to be quite a treat. We'll try and get Mr. T. Reese involved as well, but that'll be a really good show to look forward to that. And we're going to bring you guys a ton of wrestling content as we approach WrestleMania. So with that, I have been Mike, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. Have yourselves a fantastic Easter. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us, and take care.
Happy Easter.